Jai Gurudev. Today we will see some more questions which are based on middle term splitting or factorization with a bit variation in the question. Example number 1 is 3x square plus 8x plus 4. Example number 2, x square plus 5x plus 6. Now to understand this variation of question, I have taken two examples, example 1 and example 2, so that it will be easier for you to understand the method properly. If you closely observe both the example, that is example 1 and example 2, you will find that here the coefficient of x square is 1. Nothing is mentioned, that means here the coefficient can be taken as 1. Coefficient means the nearby number. Here if you see, you will find that the coefficient of x square is 3. Now, all these days, in the previous videos also you will find that the questions were based on x square plus something plus the next number. That means what? Whatever question we have dealt with, there all the coefficient of x square was 1 only, and therefore we could have easily applied this identity or the fourth identity that we have seen, x square plus a plus bx plus ab, which is x plus a x plus b. But in this case you will find that since the coefficient of x square is 3, which is other than 1, therefore straight away I cannot apply this x square plus a plus bx plus ab formula. So in this case, what I'll do, I'll multiply this coefficient of x square with 4 to get my last term. Repeating, to get the last term, I'll multiply the coefficient of x square, which is 3, with the last term. That is 3 into 4, which will give me 12. Now we'll start splitting. 3x square. Now here it is 8x and here it is now 12, not 4. So since here it is 12, so I have to take two numbers such that plus or minus will give me 8. Multiplying those two numbers will give me 12. So those two numbers can be 6x plus 2x. Since 6 plus 2 is 8 and 6 into 2 is 12 plus 4. Please remember, we'll write 4 here, not 12. 12 is the product of the number, but while we'll write here 4, not 12. 12 is for our understanding. We have to keep that in mind, that the product of the two number has to be 12, not 4, but we'll not write 12 here. We'll write 4 only. Now, there are 4 terms, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So, from first two terms, I can take 3x common. So, when I take 3x common, we are left with single x. Then plus. From the second term, when you have taken 3x common, we are left with only 2. Close the bracket. So, from first term, we have already taken the common and you can verify it. 3x into x is 3x square plus 3 into 2 is 6 and this x. So, it is 6x. Next. From this two term, I can take 2 common. So, when I'll take 2 common, from the first term, we are left with x. From the next term, we are left with 2. And once again, you can verify. 2 into x is 2x plus this plus sign, and 2 into 2 is 4. So, original expression remains same. Now, out of this 4 term, 1, 2, 3 and 4, we have converted this into 2 terms. First term and this is second term. So, out of these 2 terms, once again I can take x plus 2 common. So, when I take x plus 2 common, I am left with 3x from the first term, then plus symbol, plus, and then 2 from the second term. So, this is the factor of this expression, 3x square plus 8x plus 4. Once again repeating this, when you get a question where the coefficient of x square is more than 1, okay, when the coefficient of x square is more than 1, then multiply the coefficient of x square with the last term. So when you multiply 3 into 4, we get 12. So we have to consider that our product of two number has to be 12, not 4. So next step is 3x square remains plus. Now which two number if I add and subtract will give me 8x or 8, and those two number if I multiply I have to get 12 here. So those two numbers are 6 and 2. 6 plus 2 is 8. Similarly 6 into 2 is 12. But while I'll write here 4 only, not 12. So next step would be I'll take common from the first two terms. So 3x square plus 6x. Common is 3x. So within bracket from the first term we are left with x plus, and then we are left with 2. So you can see 3x into x is 3x square plus 3 into 2 is 6, which is 6x. So first part taking common is over. Next, plus symbol. From 2x plus 4 we find 2 is common. So from first term we are left with x plus symbol, then from the second term we are left with 2. So 2 in within bracket x plus 2. So these 4 terms, 1 2 3 4 terms, we have converted this into 2 terms. This is first term, this is second term. Out of these 2 terms we find x plus 2, and this x plus 2 is common. So we have taken x plus 2 common. So when we take x plus 2 common, from the first term we are left with 3x. So that is 3x. Then plus symbol we have written. From the second term we are left with only 2, since x plus 2 we have taken common. So 3x plus 2. So these are the two factors of this expression 3x square plus 8x plus 4. Please see this example nicely, where you have to understand that if the coefficient of x square is other than 1, then I have to do the sum in this particular manner. And if the coefficient of x square is 1, then I can proceed as usual that we have done in the previous videos. Now let us see the third example to make it more clear, this method. Example 3 is 2x square minus 9x plus 7. In example number 3 also you will find that the coefficient of x square is not 1, it is more than 1 or other than 1, which is 2. So that means I cannot apply the fourth identity, which is x square plus a plus bx plus ab. Here I have applied because here it was only 1. So here once again what we will do, we'll follow the example number 1. So in example number 1 what we have seen, if the coefficient of x square is other than 1, then we multiply that coefficient with the last term. Similarly, since here the coefficient of x square is other than 1, so we'll multiply this coefficient with the last term. Okay, so multiplication symbol, we are multiplying. So when we multiply this number, we find 2 into 7 is 14. So now I have to consider that my last term is 14, not 7. Now look for two numbers which if I add or subtract I'll get minus 9. Similarly, those two numbers if I multiply, then I should get plus 14. So those two numbers can be minus 7 and minus 2. So minus 7x minus 2x plus. So once again be careful while writing. Plus when I'll write, I'll not write 14, I'll write this 7 only. Plus 7. So we have got once again 1, 2, 3 and 4 terms. So from the first two terms we find that here x is common. So we are left with, from here if I take x common, so I'm left with 2x minus 7. And from next two term what we find, actually nothing is common, so we can take minus 1 as common. Okay, so we are left with 2x minus 7. Here, since nothing is common, 2x and 7, nothing is common. That means we can take 1. Since 1 is a common factor of every number. So we have taken minus 1. Now, when we take here minus 1, then it became 2x minus 7. How it became, you see, if I multiply minus 1 with 2x, it become minus 2x. And then this minus 1 and this minus 7 will make it plus 7. Minus 1 into minus 7 is plus 7. So original expression once again remains same. So therefore I am writing here minus 1 within bracket 2x minus 7. So this 4 terms has been converted into 2 terms now. This is first term, this is second term. Out of these 2 terms, we find 2x minus 7 is common. So we are writing 2x minus 7. So from the first term, once again, we are left with x. Since 2x minus 7 we have taken common, so we are left with x. From the second term, 2x minus 7 already we have taken common, so we are left with 1. So x minus 1. So these are the two factors of this expression 2x square minus 9x plus 7. Let us see one more example. 5x square plus x minus 20. Now in example number 4, once again we found that the coefficient of x square is other than 1, which is 5. That means here also I cannot apply the fourth identity or the fourth formula which we have seen so far. That is x square plus a plus bx plus ab. So what we'll do, the coefficient of x square here is 5 and the last term is 20. So I'll multiply 5 and here 20. So when I'll multiply 5 with 20, it is 5 20s are 100. Now, when we find the question here that we get 5x square plus x minus 20, where we multiply we get 100. So we have to look for such number where plus or minus will give me 1 and multiplying those two number as 100. When you come across this question where product of the two numbers is 100 and plus or minus those two number gives me 1. Is it possible? No. Literally it is not possible. Therefore, in this question, middle term factorization cannot be applied. So please understand this variation of question also. Right? Since here it is 5x square plus x minus 20. So 5 into 20 is 100. So we have to look for two numbers which if we multiply will give me 100 and which if we add or subtract will give me 1. Here nothing is mentioned, that means 1. So there is no number in this universe which if we multiply we get 100 and at the same time with the same number if we add or subtract we get 1. So therefore middle term splitting cannot be applied for this particular question. Now let us see the fifth example. Now this particular question, suppose I rewrite as 5x square plus x minus 4. Now let us see whether it works or not. Since the coefficient of x square is other than 1, which is 5, so what I'll do, I'll multiply 5 into 4. So 5 into 4 is 20. Now what I have to do, I have to look for two numbers which if I add or subtract will give me 1 plus 1, and those two numbers if I multiply will give me minus 20. Now here I have to remember it is not 20 here, minus 20, since here it is minus 4. So I have to look for minus 20. So those two numbers can be, one is 5 and another one can be 4. Now here you see 5x minus 4x is 1x, and 5 into minus 4 is minus 20. Repeating, 5 minus 4 is 1, so it is 1x, 5x minus 4x 1x, and 5 into minus 4 is minus 20. So we have splitted the middle term, minus 4. Do not write 20 as I said already, you will be writing minus 4. Now as usual, from this 4 terms we'll take common. So from the first two we get 5x common here. So we can write x plus 1. Since 5x square, so we have taken 5x. So from the first term we are left with only x, then plus symbol, and then from 5x we have taken 5x, so we are left with 1. So you can see 5x into x is 5x square plus symbol, then 5x into 1 is 5x. Then from here we can take minus 4 common, so we are left with x and then plus 1. Here it is plus 1 because minus 4 into x is minus 4x, and minus 4 into plus 1 is minus 4. Minus and plus makes it minus. So inside the bracket it will be x plus 1. Now out of these two terms we find x plus 1 is common. So from the first term we are left with 5x, and from the second term we are left with minus 4. So these are the two factors of this expression 5x square plus x minus 4. Now these two questions will be homework, all of you will try. Example number 6 is 4x square plus 10x plus 4. Example number 7 is 2x square minus 7x minus 9. So all of you will try this. Now let us see this last textual question, which is based on middle term splitting or factorization, that is 6g. Question is 6p square minus 11p minus 10, whole thing divided 2p minus 5. So hopefully now all of you are clear. When the coefficient of a variable is more than 1 or other than 1, then we multiply it with the constant term or the third term. So here similarly 6p square minus 11p minus 10, whole thing divided 2p minus 5. So here also 6 will be multiplied by 10. So the last number will become 60. Now I have to look for two numbers where plus and minus will give me minus 11, and multiplying those two numbers will give me minus 60. So those two numbers can be minus 15 and plus 4. Obviously here minus 10, not 60 as said earlier. So 2p minus 5. Now here you see minus 15 plus 4 is minus 11, and minus 15 into plus 4 is minus 60. So the two numbers are minus 15 and 4 plus 4. So out of these two terms 3p we can take common. So when we take 3p common, we are left with 2p minus 5. And from these two terms, that is 4p minus 10, we can take 2 common. So we are left with p minus 5. And then you can verify also. 3p into 2, p is 6p square. 3 into 2, 6, and p into p square. Next, 3p into minus 5. 3 into 5, 15, and here minus sign, so minus 15, and this p, so it is minus 15. Plus 2 into p, sorry, here it will be 2p. So 2 into 2 is 4, so 4p. Then 2 into 5, 10, here minus sign, so it is minus 10. Whole thing divided, 2p minus 5. So in the numerator, we find that there are two terms, 3p within bracket 2p minus 5 plus 2 within bracket 2p minus 5. So out of these two terms, we can see that 2p minus 5 is common from both the terms. So we can take 2p minus 5 common. So when we take 2p minus 5 common, we are left with, from the first term, 3p, and from the second term, we are left with only 2. Whole thing divided, 2p minus 5. So since both the expressions are within bracket, it means it is multiplication. So numerator and denominator can be cancelled. So the final answer is 3p plus 2. This much for today. Thank you. Jai Gurudev.